So if you've been following these vlogs, then you know that I'm practicing Stoicism, a little bit of Buddhism, and I have certain habits like outdoor running, doing a journal in the morning, getting up pretty early, a few other things like that. And last week was very interesting for me to observe myself because it was a pretty rough week. We had a bit of a disappointment in our business, and so there was a lot of pressure last week, a lot of nasty issues that needed to be resolved. And while I'm used to dealing with quite a bit of pressure, this was more pressure than one of the most pressured weeks I've had in a long time. And it was interesting to see that it was kind of hard to keep up my own routine. So the things that I say that you should do to work well, to feel well mentally, to stay fit, to reflect well, to learn, that those things kind of all went out of the window. Like I could even barely read a book, and as you can see in another vlog, I normally read a lot, so I could almost not find the motivation to read. I started binging on like news articles and Facebook and things like that. Stopped exercising, so I did everything the wrong way, and it's really strange to see how your own mind can kind of play tricks on you, because over the weekend I started picking it up again, I started exercising again, and of course immediately I felt a lot better. But somehow last week during the week it was so tough, and even though somewhere in my mind I had this voice saying like, you should keep doing these things because that's, even especially under such circumstances, you should actually keep up your rhythm, and you should do the things that that will make you feel better mentally and physically. I somehow just couldn't find the motivation, but even though that happened, I did manage to get kind of back on track now, which is good. But it was a really interesting exercise, and it only reinforced with me that like, no matter what happens, you need to have, you need to know what's good for you, and no matter how much pressure you have in terms of time or other stress factors, try to get yourself back to those things that that are good for you, and just try to execute on them. And then of course you'll start to feel better, and you'll find a way through, which on our end is now happening, and we're in a much better, at least I'm much calmer than a week ago.